just want to briefly say thank you very much to the people in this little circle. I'm Australian born, and it was great just to have that few minutes of hearing the stories from such a mixed lot of stories. I found it very moving, and I wish we had more time to do this sort of thing. And it struck me that in relation to your questions, it sort of struck me at one point that it's the denial of history that is at the heart of the horror. I mean, the horrors exist, they're going on now all over the world. There are terrible things happening to people every day. Injustice goes on everywhere all the time. And what I felt tonight is that it's the denial of the history, the changing of the textbooks, like I was saying, that when I went to school, Australian history, I was taught that Australian history began when Captain Cook came to Australia. And it wasn't till much older that I knew very much at all about the Indigenous people. So we've all got this, you know, to a greater or lesser degree of horror. And so it's the denial that creates the huge problems for us. And that's why people like Fethiye are so important to tell their stories. And one of the gentlemen in the group said, you know, why haven't we told our story? We've got these stories too. And why haven't we told them? And I think that's getting back to Arnold's introduction, that it's the dialogue and the telling of the stories that starts to unlock the horrors and also links us as a community. Here we are living in Australia with the freedom, generally freedom, to tell our stories, so we should be telling them and holding hands in the telling of them, and that is going to have reverberations. As another lady in our group said, and this includes my father, who was a terribly shattered man because of being in the wars. He never told his story, and so there are a lot of these denials that carry on through generations and end up affecting the children of all the generations. Even if they didn't experience the horror, they're affected by it because of denial. So that's the one thing that I felt was really helpful to come out of this discussion tonight. So thanks to everybody for that.
Right. Thank you, Christine.
Would anyone else like to share something of their conversation?
Hello.
Okay, yep.
Can I?
Which one? This gentleman first, and then...
Okay. Arnold was talking about the word author coming from the word authority. And I'm just thinking, I really admire you for your courage. And courage, the root of the French word meaning the heart. And it is totally about being open-hearted. And I know from my own social justice, human rights, I travel a lot, but it's always when I'm actually open to that, you know, it's such a privilege to be able to be here, to hear you anyway. So that's just brief.
Yeah, that's great.
Hi, I would like to say thank you to Fethiye Cetin, and actually, yes, as she expressed, that she also expressed lots of people's feelings and pain, and in the meantime, she opens a way, a door to us to reconcile or start reconciliation. What I would like to say to her, actually, I was on the contrary of her. I was brought up with the story of my mom, that she was born in genocide in the mountains, and never I was told, like, it's very sad when I think now. My mom told all these stories in the evenings in the village, like one of her fairy tales, because we used to tell her, Mom, could you please tell us a story today? And she would start, do you know, your grandmother gave birth to me when she was in the mountains because so and so had happened, and I was born in the mountains. And people ask her, kill your daughter because she's gonna cry and they're gonna find us, they're gonna kill us. So, of course, we were all listening to this thing, but only one thing that we didn't know, why. And I remember I used to ask, but my mom didn't know either. That was very, very sad, actually. And then later on, when I asked my mom, when I grew up, and I said, Mom, do you know the reason why they did want to kill you? Or why you were born in the mountains? And she said, I think because of some landlords and the government was in conflict with. That's what the government said to us. Because of these landlords, we were killed. But actually, my mom never told us we are Kurdish, and we were different. We were Alevis, and we were massacred or we were killed. And I also heard very, very recently that she had a sister and she was also killed and wiped out with her 2 young children. All these things came to me partially from my own mother, and also I knew an auntie that was abducted by the soldiers, taken by the soldiers to a boarding school in 1938, but she never came back. And all her story also was told. She was taken, but she never came back. But we don't know what happened to her. We thought she's dead. They said to us, she's dead, but we don't know about her because actually we never saw her dead body because it wasn't given to us. All these things, of course, it's not an unusual thing maybe in Turkey or maybe other parts of the world, as we know in Australia as well. We started to learn. That's a very important part of it. We didn't know about them. We learn about them. But for me, the sad part of it is, even though we started to learn, in 2007, Hrant Dink was killed, for example. And when I talk to people on daily basis, talk about these sort of things, to just see what they think. And the sad part of it, they were justifying the killings still, or they still justify actually what happened in the history or what's happening right now. And I'm talking about young people, not just older generations. And that's why I think someone like Fethiye Cetin or Hrant Dink or people that we know, they fight for human rights in Turkey. They are very brave people, and I appreciate, and I just hope that for the future we will be able to create a culture that really embraces the peace and reconciliation, but I don't know how. Thank you very much.